This is Duke Talks. Not to be confused with Duke Plays. And it's quite a departure from what I'm used to doing and what I'm comfortable doing. But you know what they say about being in your comfort zone, right? Like, you don't get growth and stuff unless you get outside of it. So here we are. I asked you guys to submit some questions in the community tab on my YouTube channel, and you guys did not disappoint. You showed up in force with a lot of really great questions that I'm really looking forward to answering, and it's exciting because I get asked questions a lot that I would be happy to answer. It's just I can't really do it justice in a tweet or in the response to an Instagram comment or a comment on my YouTube video. It's just too much. So I've been needing to do a video like this for a while. But if I'm being totally honest, this setup, this like confession cam, whatever going on, like it's weird for me to not have a video game or a chat room or something to interact with and give commentary over, basically. Without that, I feel really uncomfortable. So I think the best thing to do would probably be just to like pick some easy questions and start and just see where we go. But this is like, I feel really out of my element, everyone. So I hope that you know that. But let's start with some easy questions. All right, that's what this is about. And I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be great. Let's start with an easy one. What was the first video game that you fell in love with? Not an easy one. Well, initially, my knee-jerk reaction is to say Chrono Trigger, because it really is, I have said most of my life, it's like my favorite game. And that's because it really was the first game, the first RPG especially, because that's obviously what it was like. It got me so invested in the character and the characters and the story that I remember just being obsessed with it as a kid. I couldn't believe, like, it blew my mind that not only was I able to, like, it was, to me, it was like, it took the best parts of a book, of a story that you would take out of a book, and I actually got to control and play the character, which is obviously what you're doing. But that concept, when I was a kid, was like I just couldn't deal with it. And I played it a lot. I remember being fascinated with the idea that there were multiple endings, that I could affect the ending based on how I played the game. That was this concept that I was just so excited about as a kid. So obviously Chrono Trigger is very near and dear to my heart. All right, what else we got? Would you ever stream battle royale games? Well, as a matter of fact, Shayna and I used to, like, when I stream, actually she did it too on her channel. She used to stream also. We used to stream PUBG, and we would run duos, or we would run in a group of 4 with like people in our chat room, and it was so much fun. And this was in the early days of PUBG. Like, it had just started, and we were really obsessed with it for quite a while. Like, there was probably 3 or 4 months that's like all we did. We went to the gym, like, we trained, we came back, we ate, and then we PUBG. That was it. Like, that was it. So technically, I have before. Unfortunately, after that stint in PUBG, like, I kind of burnt out. Like, both of us did. Like, we were just burnt out on the whole concept of the battle royale game. Like, it was great. I enjoyed it, but after just months and months of nothing but that, I was like, okay, I need a break. I need something different. We did hilariously play Fortnite for a little while, but this will give you some perspective. This was before Fortnite was a battle royale game. This was when it was just this, like, team running around building bases type stuff. Like, it was not a battle royale game at all. In fact, on my YouTube channel, like, back in those old stream replays, is a weird Fortnite stream that I did. I found it the other day. My mom asked me, like one of her coworkers sent her a message, an email or something asking if I played Fortnite because her son wanted to know. And I was like, no. And then got on my YouTube channel and sure enough, in my Twitch stream replays playlist, I saw Fortnite and I was like, what? I'm like, I completely forgot that we did that. And so I sent it to her and I was like, this is probably not what he's talking about. But I can at least say I did it. All right, let's see what else we got. This is a good one. This is a wrestling type question. I know wrestling deals with a lot of trust with your coworkers. Do you have any close call stories that did not end in disaster or did, and you would like to share? Well, first of all, I can say, thankfully, I don't have any, stories that ended in disaster. At least not what I would consider, massive disaster. However, you're not wrong in your assessment of the job and the dangers involved and the amount of trust that goes into it. And there have definitely been things that could have gone much, much worse, and were absolutely, higher risk. But fortunately, like nothing like that have I ever dealt with. The closest probably was one of the wrestlers in the match blew a knee during the match, and we had to, on the fly, stop the match, change it from a 6-person tag match to a regular tag match, so teams of 2 instead of teams of 3, and then finish the match. And it was all happening while you're concerned, that one of your friends could be very seriously hurt. And it was really hard. It really, it shocked me. It caught me off guard. It was like just a way more intense experience than I would have guessed. And it was so like, you're just not expecting it, like it was just so out of left field. It didn't seem like a possibility until it happened. And then you're like, oh my God, like just like that, man, things can go wrong. So it was very eye-opening. So that I would say is probably one of the closest. Here's a good one. You can only eat one ice cream flavor for the rest of your life. What is it? See, this is a very different question than what is your favorite ice cream flavor. Okay, which for the record, in my opinion, can change. I don't think you have to be married to one flavor forever if you're going to say it's your favorite. However, if the question is you can only eat one for the rest of your life, this is going to sound really boring and lame, but I would say vanilla. It is my favorite. Like it's a classic. You can never go wrong with it. I said favorite, but it's like, it's like a staple. It's like, if I don't know what else to get, vanilla ice cream, when it's good, especially, I think is so good. That's not to say, like, I don't, that I don't like other flavors, because I definitely do. But if I could only have one, I would definitely choose vanilla ice cream, because you could eat it with so many other things. Like, let's say, for instance, mint chocolate chip, a flavor that I love. You can't, certain foods may not necessarily, like certain desserts or something you may want to pair with this ice cream may not go with mint chocolate chip. Most things I feel like will go with vanilla. So if I was limited to just one flavor, I'd have to go with a good vanilla ice cream. How about that? Huh? Let's see. Here we go. You just won the lottery. Congratulations. You have to buy one thing and visit one place. What do you buy and where do you go? Well, I just won the lottery. That's nice. What do I buy? Let's see. What would I buy? I would probably immediately, the thing that I would buy, because it's a thing that I will buy one day. I don't need to win the lottery to do it. But if I did win the lottery, it would be at the top of the list of things that I would buy. I would go home and I would buy the land and the property that I grew up on. with the house seat, and then like the 25 acres of woods behind it up on the mountain, and I would buy that land. I would love to have it. It was where I grew up. I spent the first 18 years of my life there, and my sister owns a house at the bottom of that property, and so we could be neighbors. It would be great. We would have our little vacation homes back in southeast Kentucky, and it would be amazing. And that is a thing I plan on doing. So probably going back home and buying the land and the property that I grew up on would be my first purchase. And I get to visit one place. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a place I haven't gone. I do love traveling. I do love traveling, but I also love being home. And I get to travel a lot now. So I feel a little bit differently about travel. But if I had a choice to just go visit somewhere, maybe let's think of somewhere maybe I haven't been, I would probably say I would go visit Wales. I would love to visit Wales. One of my very dear friends is from there, and we talk about it a lot. And I feel like it's kind of a similar vibe and culture to like the area that I grew up in. So I feel like I would like it a lot, and it's somewhere that I haven't been, and I would love to visit it. I would love to see it in person, and I think that I will one day. Let's see. If you had to retire from WWE, what would your job become after? Well, you're looking at it. I've said forever that this stuff, I used to say streaming because I did live streaming every day, but whether it's making YouTube videos or whatever, this has always been my retirement plan for as long as I can remember, mainly because it's a thing that you can do well into old age. It's not limited by your body and what it can take. So it's kind of been a thing that I've always, once I realized it was like this skill that I could develop and practice and get better at and work at, I've always wanted to keep it up. And even like the last couple years, like I stopped doing the live streaming every day, and I took a break, but it was always a thing that was on my mind. I was always still having lots of ideas of things I wanted to do. And my plan was what happened, like once we moved and got into a new place, and I could really start to build my setup the way that I would like to, I was ready to like get back at it. And I love it so much. Like this is it, man. Like this is it. This would be my career, and it will be. I mean, you can't wrestle forever, just like you can't fight forever. You cannot wrestle forever. And I want to, I enjoy this. I like having an outlet to like create for whatever, like that's important. And so I feel like the videos and stuff, they do that for me. Let's see. I don't know if I can ask multiple questions. That's not a question. Have you ever completely rage quit a game? Yes. And that game is called Bloodborne. And those of you that did used to watch my live stream every day might remember this game. I played Dark Souls 3. It's the only Souls game that I had played, and I loved it. I beat it. I loved it. I hadn't played any of the games before. I was like always, people always made it out like it was so hard that it wasn't fun, like it was unfair, which I'm like, I love difficult games, but I don't like it when it's unfair. That's not fun. I want it to be doable. Well, what I found out is kind of like avoided the game for a really long time just based on what other people were saying, which is stupid. And so by the time I played it, I loved it. And so, of course, after I played it, I'm like, I want more of these games. I'm going to have to go play the other Souls games. And everyone was suggesting Bloodborne, which is, of course, made by the same people. It's a slightly different setting. It was more of like a Lovecraftian type setting, as opposed to the fantasy setting that was in Dark Souls. So I'm like, sweet, like let's do it. It was a PS4 exclusive. I was all about it. Played it. I did beat the game. However, the DLC, I could not. There was a boss. I cannot remember his name. You fight him on a beach. He's really annoying. I distinctly remember one stream spending 6 hours fighting this boss over and over and over and getting so close so many times and experiencing that unfair type of difficulty where it's like, man, this is just bullshit. Like, it just is. It was so infuriating at times, and I was determined, like, I will beat this. I will not let this game beat me. And after 6 hours, I remember I put my controller down and I took a deep breath, and then I asked everyone to have a good day, and that was it. And I turned it off, and when I started the stream the next day, I was playing a different game, and I didn't talk about Bloodborne. And to this day, I have not finished it. It really bothers me a little bit, if I'm being honest. Like, it bothers me that it's there and that it's like a thing. But here we go. What was the most awkward interaction you ever had with a fan? Well, to be fair, I feel like most interactions with fans are awkward, just by nature. Like, it just is. Like, nobody would, like, I don't know you, you don't know me. It's just awkward, I think, and it's weird to pretend like it's not awkward. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me necessarily. The awkwardness, I kind of enjoy it, and I enjoy pointing out sometimes the obvious things, but there's definitely been some weird stuff where people did get, I'm trying to think, like, nothing terrible. There have been some really strange interactions where, like, people would run up and take a picture without saying anything, like literally running up, standing next to you, snapping a selfie, and then just walking off without even saying anything. Like, it's just like did that just happen? And I remember where that happened. Probably one of the worst times that ever happened is Shayna and I were at the MGM. We were watching Ronda fight, and we were walking through the hotel. And of course, you know, the fight is at the MGM, so not only is everyone at the hotel anyway, like, the event itself is happening there. So it was packed, it was crowded, and we were just trying to walk to the arena to get there to watch her. And it was like we couldn't break free, and no one was listening to us. We were by ourselves, but none of the people that were interacting with us were listening. And we're like, we've got to go see her. Like, we are here to watch her fight. We have to go. We're going to be late. And it was just so bizarre to be treated, you know, I don't want to say that it was bad, because everyone obviously, like, they want to take pictures and they want to, you know, whatever. That's amazing. It's amazing. But it was just, I don't know, it was very dehumanizing in some ways, to be like, almost pleading with them and to have them not care at all. Like, I'm sorry, this selfie is more important. Also, I don't need to even say hello or thank you or anything. I don't need to ask permission. I'm just going to do it. And I was just like, this is a little weird, you know? This is a little much. And so ever since then, like, if people do that, I always call them out on it. Like, I'm just going to run up and take a picture. Like, I call them out straight away. Like, because the truth is, that is not a thing you would do to a normal person on the street. But for some reason, when people feel like they know you or they know who you are, or you're famous, I'm not, they just assume that it's like okay and accepted, and that you've accepted this based on, well, you wanted to get famous, so this is what comes along with it. It's really not. It's really not. There was no fine print that said that anywhere. It's not really a thing. So it's like, it's whatever, Awkward for sure, though. Let's see. Next question is, go-to ice cream flavors. Well, I went on the big rant about vanilla earlier, so obviously, that's a solid pick, right? But there's so much more out there than vanilla. And if I had to say next in line, right, like leading the charge right now, has to be mint chocolate chip. I've been obsessed with mint chocolate chip for years now. I don't know why. Just the mint, the chocolate. I love Thin Mints in Girl Scout cookies. I love the Andes mints. I just love mint chocolate. I just love it. It's amazing. And I want to eat it all the time. I could eat it every day. Like, I love it. So definitely some mint chocolate chip. I also like cookies and cream. If I have to get like a double, where I get like the ice cream place that I go to nearby, they have this, you can get a double, which is 4 scoops, or a single, which is 2. I know it's very confusing. But if I'm going to get the double, which is 4 scoops, I usually do mint chocolate chip, cookies and cream, cookie dough, and then they have like a side of the counter that rotates different flavors. That's usually where I'll put in like whatever the new flavor is, or whatever whatever. They have like these rotating flavors. The last time, I think it was birthday cake, which was amazing. But they always have like just a variety of stuff. This is just great. So I like having like the weird one thrown in that maybe I'm not expecting. But those are like some solid go-tos for me. Oh yeah. Favorite memory between you, Shayna, Rhonda, and Marina. A favorite memory between the 4 of us. So many good ones. God. I mean, obviously, like, listen, the 4 of us have done so much cool stuff together. Cannot even put into words what being, ringside at WrestleMania when Rhonda gets to jump the barricade and get in the ring with Stephanie McMahon, who not only calls out Rhonda, but also her horsewomen friends, like, acknowledged us then. Like, that was crazy. That was like, is this real? Like, is this real? Is this really real and happening? And it was, and it is. But besides the obvious ones, I feel like everyone knows, like, obviously, like, we all love wrestling. We've done all kinds of wrestling stuff together. But we were roommates for quite a while. And that is, like, God, what a great time in my life, really. Like, so special and so amazing to find, like, a sisterhood like that at a time when I needed it badly. And it really, like, as traumatic as The Ultimate Fighter was at times, it was worth it to go through because of the friendships that I got from it. Specifically, the friendships with Rhonda and Marina and Shayna. That alone, that was worth going through it, but you could not pay me to go back and go through it again. But so, of course, we all became roommates after the show, and one of my favorite stories that involved all of us, that I don't know if I've ever like told this story, but pretty much anytime we all hang out, I have to like bring it up and be like, do you guys remember this? So we lived on Venice. We lived on Venice Beach, and there was a storm. There was a storm coming in, and we were like, hey, like, if we get up early, this storm's rolling in, and supposedly if you get up early, like, before the sun rises, it's gonna cause this, like, crazy looking cloud formations and colors, and it'll be this spectacular thing to watch as the sun rises with this storm rolling in on the horizon. It was like, I don't know, it was supposed to be this, like, perfect thing that people were talking about, and we were like, let's do it. Like, we'll get up early, we'll make coffee, we'll all walk down to the beach, it'll be great. And so we're like, we'll do it, let's do it. And And to be fair, like, getting up that early, first of all, for all of us, that was, like, everyone is training or in training camp, and so already, like, sacrificing any sleep at all, we were like, no, this is going to be great. This is going to be worse. Like, this is going to be amazing. And so we all get our coffee. We get all cozy up in our, like, hoodies and sweats and looking all whatever, like, we're going to go down to the beach. So, and I don't know if anyone that's ever been to the beach at Venice, it's very long. Like, it's very wide. There's a long way from where the sand starts to where the water starts. Okay, it's a long walk. So we're just, like, taking our time, and it is really nice, and we're all being really cute, I think. And we're all excited, and we get all the way to the water. We sit, we have our coffee, and we're looking, and it is wild looking. Like, it is unbelievable. It's just as we got there, you could start to see the colors. The waves were big, and they weren't really always. So the waves are big, and they're crashing in, and we were kind of sitting up on this hill, like, not a hill, but it was like the beach, and then there's, like, a little ledge of sand, right? And we're just sitting there. And then there's, like, there's a pretty good distance to the water. Not far. We had went pretty much all the way there. And we're just sitting on that ledge, and in the distance, like, I'm having a little coffee, and I'm looking, and I'm like, that is a really big wave out there, right? And then they're like, that's not a wave. We're all doing this, like, that's not a wave. And I'm like, that looks like a really big wave. Like, really big. And we all just spend probably the next 2 minutes discussing whether or not this wave is real or not, okay? Finally, it reaches a point. So it was like a thin line, right? You could see, like, just the white of the top of the wave, this thin line. And then as it got closer, like, it started you could just see it, and we were like, oh, that is definitely a wave. That's a big wave coming in here. Like, oh my God, the sun is coming up. It's beautiful. It's like one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, ever. And we're like, wow, guys, like, just wow. And then that wave gets closer and closer and closer. It is not slowing down. It is not getting smaller. It is rushing towards us quickly, and it is as high as the ledge that we are sitting on, if not higher. It was higher. Like, we're sitting, and it's like eye level, and we're like, should we go? Like, should we go? That wave crosses, like, it hits the beach. We all get up, and we're like, oh my God, it's like, this wave is coming. We all get up, and we're like, oh my God, the wave, like, rushes over us. Like, it hits, like, we get up, and we're all, like, spilling coffee and, like, losing flip-flops and not sunglasses. Nobody had sunglasses. It was too early for that. We're losing everything, okay? Like, we're freaking out. We're scattering. All of a sudden. It was just like we were mesmerized by this wave until it literally hit us. And we were like, oh my God. And it was big, okay? So we are all, like, running in this, like, knee-deep water that is rushing. It was like a tsunami, basically. Like a mini tsunami that hit the Venice beach, all right? And the four of us are, like, running through the thing, trying to not, like, get sucked back out into the ocean. And we made it, but barely. So we finally, we literally all just ran until we got to the parking lot, essentially. We ran as far as we could. And then it was like, we looked like drowned rats. Like, we were all just like, ugh. Like, what? And this is like 6 a.m, right? Like, we got up early to watch a sunrise. And then almost got swept away into the Pacific Ocean. For real. Like, it was one of those where I'm like, no, really, that's how it happens, right? Like, when you read the stories about, like, someone got swept away, like, that's how it happens. I experienced it. It happened to all of us. Like, all four of us were just sitting there, just like, like, wow, what a big wave. Until it literally hit us. It was just, it's amazing that all we lost were some flip-flops and the coffee that we were drinking. Because it really could have ended much worse. But I I love telling that story. I don't know why. I just find it hilarious. Like, that could have been it. We could have just all four been swept away right there because we just wanted to get up early and watch a sunrise with coffee, you know? Together. As friends. So that's a good one. That's a solid memory. Let's see. What else we got? This is a good one. This is going to take me a second. Who gave you the nickname The Gun in MMA and why? Let's talk about this. This is one that I do want to talk about because I've mentioned it a few times before, but I've never really, I don't think, fully explained the origin of my fight name. But it wasn't a name that I chose. It was, like, I was convinced that for some reason a fighter wasn't supposed to choose their name. It's like, it was supposed to be bestowed upon you. All right. Now, I was young and stupid and didn't know that. So I was just like, cool, yeah, like, I'll wait and you can choose my name. It's fine. And so this is the actual reason that I was given that I am called, or was called, The Gun. So as you guys may be familiar, John Wayne was known as the Duke. Right? Okay. Everyone following along? So, there was a boxer by the name of Tommy Morrison who claimed that he was like a distant relative, like a nephew or something, like a grand nephew. Is that even a thing? I don't even know if that's a thing. Of John Wayne. All right, that was like his claim to fame, was that he was related to John Wayne, and so he fought as Tommy the Duke Morrison. All right, everyone following along? Now, in Rocky V, Tommy Morrison played a boxer. That boxer that he played was named Tommy the Machine Gun. Okay, Tommy Gunn was his name. Real clever, right? They could have just left his name. Honestly, Tommy Gunn isn't good enough. They had to have the machine. He didn't need to be the Machine Gun. He could have just been Tommy Gunn. That's a great name in and of itself. However, whatever. He played a fighter named Tommy Gunn. And my coach at the time thought that it was very clever, since he was Tommy the Machine Gun, and I'm Jessamine Duke, and that it would somehow make sense that if I was Jessamine the Gun Duke. And I remember hearing that and being like, okay, all right, I like Rocky. Okay, cool. I'm fine with that. All right, cool, yeah. And like, I just was like, okay, like, I was excited, honestly, to be like, cool, I get to, it's really dumb. I was like, such a dumb thing. It was such a dumb thing. But I thought it was just cool, and I was like, yeah. And so I tried to really make it my own. I'm like, I'm running with this. Like, it's a thing. Like, this is it. But it just never quite fit. I don't hate guns. I have no problem with guns. I shoot guns sometimes. I don't own one, but I don't hate them. I'm definitely much more of a knife person. Anyone that has like seen any of my photos and stuff, like Cold Steel used to be one of my sponsors, and they were amazing, and all they do is make knives, and it was just, I love it. Like, I really am much more of a knife gal if I were to choose a weapon, but that was not my name. And so I really, like I said, I tried to own it. I tried to make it my own. That was it. That was the reason. That was the story. It was like this, to me, it just felt like a reach, right? Which is why I don't think it ever resonated with me, because I'm like, kind of, I don't know. That's it. That's the story. I don't know what else to tell you. That's it. I have retired that name. I no longer use The Gun. It's just, you know, I can do better, I think I can come up with something better. Also, Duke is just a cool name. I've been told that my whole life. Whenever people hear it. In fact, I get asked all the time in wrestling if my name is my real name, because people think it's so cool. Not just Duke, but Jessamine as well. They think that's just like cool. So whatever. Like, That's why I'm like, do I need all the bells and whistles? Do I need that really? I don't think so. I think Jessamine Duke is pretty badass. So that's what we're going with for now, Hope that I don't know, answers your question. Let's see. What video game or console really got you into gaming? Well, I remember, I don't think I really started remembering things until I was around, 5-ish, right? So around 5, I remember my brother having a regular Nintendo. He had the regular, or the original Super Mario, or not Super Mario, just the Mario Brothers, the original one. And I played it, but I wasn't obsessed with it, right? I played it, I liked it, but I was just like, neat. Once we got the Super Nintendo, everything changed. We got the Super Nintendo, and we got Super Mario Brothers 3. That was it. That was when I was like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for all of this time. Just blown away. I remember waking up and just wanting to go downstairs and play. I'm just begging my parents to can I have some time? I wanted to play so bad, but I also had to share it with my brother. And so I would either watch him play, and just be obsessed with it, or I was just wanting to play myself. So it really was probably the Super Nintendo that got me it was the one that I was like, okay, this is gonna be a thing. I like this a lot. Ooh, this is hard. Oh God, this is hard. What are your top 5 RPG video games? Role-playing game video games. What are your top 5 role-playing game video games? Well, my top 5 role-playing game video games are... God, see, I hate lists. I hate when it's this is the list. This is a thing. Okay, this is the thing. I feel like gamers... Everyone's so judgy about what everyone else's favorites are, right? It's like art or like pro wrestling. It's very subjective. What one person likes, another person may hate. But if one person likes this and gets enjoyment out of it, then to them, that's a perfect game. It doesn't really matter if this person thinks it's trash. It doesn't. It doesn't stop this person's enjoyment of it. So really, who's to say what the better game is? I feel like it's one of those, it's very personal. I usually hate doing, being here's my top 5, because everyone just wants to dissect it and break it apart and tell you why it's wrong. Whatever. RPGs are probably my favorite genre, and off the top of my head, it's got to be a blend of old school RPGs. And if I'm thinking about ones that I played, if I think about the RPGs that originally made me a fan, obviously Chrono Trigger's got to be on the list. All right, it was the first game that I was like, oh my God, there's multiple endings, there's a story, I love these characters, great. I'm gonna count them off because I may go over 5, but I may trade some of them out. A close second to Chrono Trigger would be Final Fantasy VI. Now, before everyone freaks out and starts telling me what Final Fantasy is better than this one and that one, it doesn't matter. Final Fantasy VI is my favorite. It's the one that I play. It's the Final Fantasy game I played the most, and it's great. I remember watching the opening scene with it was like a movie. It was like a movie, with the mechs, and it was snowy, and the mech guys are walking, and the music, and it was just, I was and the credits were scrolling, and that was just such a crazy concept to me. I really felt like I was playing a movie, and so I loved it. And it was more of a sci-fi-ish steampunk type setting, and not just the straight fantasy stuff, which I enjoyed. So Final Fantasy VI is on the list or in the same area, for sure. Now, on PC, Baldur's Gate 2 has to be on my list. It was really like, so as far as like the isometric view games, that was the first type of that game that I ever played. And I remember I loved so much like how much information there was about all of the things I was doing in the game. I could read in the index about the city, about the characters, about their backstories, about their history, about like wars. That it was just like this, this world that was so fleshed out. I could not believe how much information there was in this world that it's like not even real. Like, it was, to me, that was like such a new concept that I was like, whoa, this is fun. Also, Minsk and Boo. Minsk was like the barbarian, and he had a pet hamster named Boo that he insisted was from outer space, if I recall correctly. And I was just like, this is amazing. Like, what a great game. Like, what a great game. I get to play this guy. I get to make choices for this guy. This is great. And then again, like, having the ability to make choices that affect the different dialogue choices and affect your honor and all the D&D rule set. Like, that was really my first introduction to like D&D type rules and games with that type of foundation in them. That was the first one that was like, whoa, like, okay, they make this into a video game. Cool. So Baldur's Gate 2, definitely got to be on there. That's what, 3? Deus Ex on the PC. Deus Ex, I had to thank my brother for that one. There was a Deus Ex game, I think it was just Deus Ex Machina, that came out. It was also on PC that came out like way before that. But Baldur's Gate and Deus Ex both came out around the same time, if I recall. Somebody can look that up. I feel like I'm right on that. And it was a first-person RPG, and that was like such a cool thing. And it was sci-fi, which was very different. I keep saying that a lot. It must be a thing, huh? It was a really fun, like, it was a first-person shooter, but also an RPG. It had a lot of the same elements and just improved graphics. And I was still really new to PC gaming at that point. And so it was like just a good introduction for me, and it really stuck with me. Again, multiple endings and like being able to make these choices, and some of them are heavy, like heavy choices for a kid to be playing a game. Like, the fact that they let you like sort through some of this stuff is crazy to me. So Deus Ex, I'm sure someone will say I'm pronouncing it wrong. Don't care. What else? I want to have like a more recent one. Man, I feel like it's got to go in my top 5, or it would. It's definitely arguable, and I can't think of anything else right now. But Kingdom Come Deliverance is an amazing game, and it's a more recent RPG, and it's so good. It's so good, and I love the concept of like most of these games. Like, you start as a hero, and you're this like strong character destined for greatness, and you're clearly a hero, right? Like, you step into the shoes of a hero. And I love Kingdom Come Deliverance because you are the opposite of that. You are like a poor, unathletic, kind of average looking peasant man. Okay, you live at home with your parents. That's about it. Like, I love the concept of like starting with a character like that and then playing a game where you do become a hero, right? Like, you do eventually become the hero, but they let you go through the journey of actually becoming the hero and starting off as like the kind of the dopey peasant guy that's like, like, it was just, to me, that was like such a nice change of pace and so refreshing. Like, I loved it. And it was set in like a historical part of the world. Where was it? I don't even remember. But they like, it was very accurate where like what they the part of the world that they based it off of is very accurate, and just so it was just such a good game. So much good dialogue, great voice acting, and just a fun game to play a lot of different ways, but a different take on like the hero's journey. So definitely got to go up there. Obviously, like, listen, Red Dead Redemption 2, so first of all, some people don't really consider that an RPG. It's like an action RPG or whatever. I feel like it's very debatable. Red Dead Redemption 2 is like my game of the decade, you know, for the last 10 years. It's so good. So good. But I feel like it's dumb to just put it on a list. It's like, well, obviously it's a great game. I don't need to say it. So I tried to think of some games that maybe people wouldn't expect. I mean, The Witcher 2. The Witcher is amazing. What an amazing game. I feel like it's kind of a waste of a space to just be like, oh, it's there. Like, if I tried to think of games, I'm like, ooh, these were ones that like, they had some sort of concept or something that stood out to me that was different at the time, and that's why they stuck with me, and I played them so much. I think that's 5. I'm okay with that list. I feel good about that. I'm sure I'll think of something and like have to redo it. But there we go. Oh, a simple one. What kind of music are you into? Well, that is a broad question, and it's actually much easier to say what music I'm not into rather than what music I'm into, because if you want to get an actual sense of what I do listen to, I suggest if you follow me on Instagram, on my story, I will oftentimes throughout the day just share whatever song has popped up on my playlist that I happen to be listening to at the moment, and I share it. And I always get messages from people that are like, I would have never guessed you would listen to this, or like, that is not at all like the song that you just posted like 10 minutes ago, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I'm kind of all over the place. Next question. Do you enjoy Cobb salads? Not. Do I enjoy them? I don't know that I can say truthfully that I've ever just sat down and enjoyed a Cobb salad. I've definitely eaten them, and they're around a lot. I feel like they're kind of like a mainstay in catering, right? Like, they're always there. It's always an option. It's usually something you can find in restaurants. It's a good healthy option for places. But enjoy? I don't know that I can say that I do. Something to think about. What's one thing you wish people knew about you? I don't know. What do I wish people knew about me? What do I wish people knew about me? Like, before they met me, or like, you know what I do wish? I wish people knew how to pronounce my name. I'm not mad at people when they don't know how to pronounce my name. I get it. It's a unique spelling, and it's not a name that you might be used to seeing. But the discussion of how to say my name is like always a thing when saying hello to people. So I'm just sick of having the conversation. So if everyone could just know how to pronounce my name, that'd be great. It's Jessamine. There's 3 syllables. And I don't know, it's weird. People put vowels in places that they aren't in my name, and I've gotten some really crazy pronunciations of my name. That's a thing. That is a thing. There you go. I feel a lot better now that I got that off my chest. Here's a good one. Well, it says favorite video game, favorite person to game with, or favorite board game. Well, favorite person to game with would have to be my brother. He's been he's been my gaming buddy, like, since I was a kid. I mean, he's older than me, like, basically since I was born. He's been the one that I play video games with, and still to this day, we still play, like, not all the time. It depends. I mean, obviously he's like, he works and has a family and a life now, and as do I. But there are, like, times where we will get on the same game at the same time, and, like, I have the most fun, and we do the best stuff, like, when we partner up. My favorite that we did recently was both of us on Red Dead Online. Oh my God, we had some fun. And it's amazing what, like, two people who know what they're doing, who are working together and communicate, even, like, posses with 6 people in them can't touch us. Like, it's so great to have, like a strong gaming partner. You know what I mean? Like, that's great. So definitely my brother. I can always count on him. He, like, we have the same taste in video games. I can trust his opinion on stuff too. Like, he's like my go-to gaming guy. And he helped me an unbelievable amount with my stream back in the day, and even with my YouTube channel, he helps me tremendously. But then, you know, on top of that, like I said, we just play video games together, and it's great. So definitely my brother. What else we got? Here's a great one. When will you be doing another BRE video? For those of you unfamiliar, the BRE now, which stands for the best roommates ever. The BRE is made up of Shayna Baszler, Mia Yim, Dakota Kai, and myself. And we will absolutely be making some more BRE videos in the future. I'm looking forward to it. With them, I want to do videos with them individually. I just made one with Shayna that went up recently, which was great. You can find videos of, like, of Mia on the channel too. And now it's like, I want to do a video with all of us, all 4 of us playing certain games. There's, like, I have so many ideas. Everybody's down. We're all gamers. Like, that's the thing. Like, we are all gamers, all of us. And so it's very exciting, you know, like, I'm like, this is very exciting. And we do this stuff, like, anyway, you should see us playing video games when no one is around. Like, it's just us. We're not doing it for a camera. And I'm like, guys, like this is amazing. Like, are we seriously, like, we're just like this, you know, like, what are we doing? So soon. And I think you guys will enjoy it. And it's definitely a thing to look forward to on the channel. Interesting question. What is the best RPG to start with to get someone interested in them and not just instantly get bored of them? That's a hard question. But based on my experience, so Mia Yim had never really played RPGs, but before Red Dead 2 came out, Shayna and I were obviously very excited about it because we knew about the previous one. We understood that it was going to be this amazing game, and it's like, okay, like, this is a thing. This is a game that is worth this amount of hype, right? So we're talking about it, and Mia had never played an RPG, and she didn't really game that much either at that point. She had, like, I would say, like, a basic understanding of it. Well, she got Red Dead based purely on our hype for it. She got Red Dead, played it, loved it. In my opinion, it completely converted her into a gamer. And she became, so she posseed up with my brother and I for a while on Red Dead Online. And even my brother was like, oh my God, like, she's a crack shot. Like, he kind of thought it was going to be like, oh, like, she's not really a gamer, and it's fine, it's your friend, she can, and then she's just sniping fools, man, like, left and right. It was like, oh my God, like, what have we unleashed, you know, like, so it was there. So I don't know, something that's kind of a blend like that, like a big AAA title, I don't know, that's a safe, I feel like that's a good one. I don't know. Some people get turned off by the slow beginning in Red Dead. Whatever. I don't know. It's just different for different people. I went on and on about how much I liked that. Some people hated it. I would just say try some stuff. Try some games. Read up on them. Like, look up. This is the list of the 100 best RPGs in the last 10 years. Scroll through it and at you, you know, like, and then get on YouTube, type it in on my playlist. I've probably played them. That, like, I really try to play like almost any RPG out there. At least check it out, because you never know. So I don't know, something like that, a nice blend. Something maybe not like hardcore. Like I wouldn't say like Baldur's Gate 2. Like not a good one. Kind of wordy, hard to see. Graphics aren't great. You know, not a place I would start. Now the new Baldur's Gate, we'll see. I'm excited about that one. We'll see how that one turns out. That's exciting. Many years in the making. But yeah, anyway, I digress. There you go. Do you believe in ghosts, aliens, or Bigfoot? Now, is this a, like ghosts, aliens, or Bigfoot? Or is this, like, do you believe in any of these? I'm gonna assume it's not a choice between them. Ghosts, yes. Aliens, yes. Bigfoot, I'm not sold on Bigfoot yet, okay? And I grew up in the mountains, in the woods, and it's not just... I never got any Bigfoot vibes anywhere. Like, not... And I've not seen any real strong evidence for Bigfoot, and I've not met anyone with a good Bigfoot story. Now, you want to talk about ghost stories or alien stories? I've heard a few, quite the tales in my time. And also experienced a few things, all right? I've got some ghost stories, and I've got some alien stories. So, those two, yeah. Bigfoot, meh, nah, I ain't sold. Bigfoot, not a thing. Not a thing. What else we got? Oh, here's a heavy one. Have you ever fought in a street fight? Yes, I have. One. It was self-defense, and we were basically jumped in the parking lot of our old gym, and by us, I mean myself and Shayna and a former roommate of ours named Bromate. We basically were jumped in the parking lot of our gym after dark, and they started the fight, but we finished it. There was a weapon involved, not one that we brought out, and I quickly disarmed the attacker. And there is actually a story about it out there. It was weird because at the time Shayna and I were both in the UFC, and so even though we were not in the wrong at all, we did nothing wrong. It was still this like very scary thing to go through because we had to call the police. We have to report all of this. You have to explain what happened. There's a very gnarly picture out there of me with my eyebrow split open because I got cracked in the head with a little shorty bat that someone had pulled out in the fight. So, yes, I have. They started it. We finished it. End of story. Ha! Okay. Marry, kill. Pancakes, waffles, French toast. All right. Oh God. Okay. I'm gonna marry pancakes. I'll eat pancakes till the day I die. Pancakes are great. Pancakes can stay. I'm gonna kill waffles. I'm gonna some French toast. What tips do you have to anyone who wants to do MMA? Don't say it. Listen. It is... I love the sport of MMA so much. The politics of fighting and the promotions and stuff, not so much. But the sport itself, I absolutely love. I would recommend finding a good gym, finding a good trainer, someone reputable, and just spending time training. I trained for almost 4 years before I took my very first fight in a ring. Now, I competed in like grappling tournaments and stuff before that, but as far as like stepping into a ring to fight another person, it took me almost 4 years to get there. And I'm not saying that's what everyone should do. I'm just saying it's not something you should just jump into. It really, it's a hard road to hoe, okay? Like, it's not an easy path, which is very appealing to some people, and it's exactly what they need in life, and it was exactly what I needed at a certain time in my life. So I'm very glad that I did it. But if I was going to give tips, I would say find somewhere reputable to train. Find someone reputable to train you. And then just spend your time developing those skills, finding a love for the training of it and the learning aspects of, like, the martial arts. Like, that's all really important. It's not just about the fight. Like, that is so easy to get, like, caught up in, but there's so much more to it than that. And if you just focus on that aspect, I feel like you're going to plateau. So yeah, there's some actual tips for you. Let's see. Ooh, here we go. What are some of your favorite video game soundtracks? Ooh, this is good because, so video game music is like I almost like the music and the soundtracks of games more than the games themselves sometimes. And I think a big part of that was, like, I feel like especially in, like, the Super Nintendo days, that there was such a focus on having these soundtracks that, like, just stuck with you. Like, the quality was just next level. Some of those songs, like, you can never get out of your head in a good way. Some of my favorites, obviously, like Chrono Trigger, has some great ones that I love. What else we got? Chrono Trigger, like all the ones I've named. Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, like I still remember the battle music. We got Mega Man. Let's see, Chrono Trigger. My favorite song probably off of that would be Frog's theme. I love it. I walked out to it for a fight one time, and it always had such an epic feel to it. Like, I just felt it, man. I was like, I just felt it. I loved it. Like, Frog was amazing, and Frog's theme, perfect. Let's see if I can do it. Oh God, this is. There you go. That's Frog's theme. What else we got? Mega Man. What else is it? I know it. We've got. Question. What's your favorite humming noise? Well, I do have a favorite humming noise. So good, in fact, that if I could just ask everyone to just take a moment, please. I know everyone's having a good time, because I would really like to propose a big toast in honor of Dad, who was just an amazing and wonderful, loving father and a fantastic human being in general. And I think anyone that knew Dad, even just for a second, knew that he had an amazing hum. And everywhere he went, he would just break out into this beautiful hum. And anyone that was around him that heard it, they were just happy. And so in honor of Dad, I would like to ask everyone to please pause Raise your glasses. And just hum for Dad.